Hey, critical thinkers, check out this trailer for another teacher podcast called Fandalorians, Teachers by Day, Nerds by Night.
Hello, everybody. Let me ask you a question. When you were a kid, did you ever wonder what teachers talked about in the teacher's lounge?
You probably didn't miss much. It's usually boring stuff like grading papers, lesson planning, and then figuring out the new train schedule.
Train schedule?
Well, I teach in the city.
But sometimes, at one of the not-so-cool tables in the back of the teacher's lounge, you might find us, the Fandalorians, teachers by day, nerds by night.
My name is Mr. Richardson, and by day, Mr. McDonald, Mr. G, and I teach and inspire America's youth.
But by night, we debate, discuss, and argue about all things in the pop culture universe on our podcast.
We discuss all the biggest pop culture topics in the world, like Ozark, Stranger Things, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, Marvel, Star Wars, Top Gun Maverick, The Old Man, Bridgerton, you name it, we'll probably discuss it.
You guys watch Bridgerton?
Yo, season 1 of Bridgerton was awesome. You don't know what you're missing. Since we are teachers, you will always get a ton of background information about our topics and original teacher-themed segments, like our pop culture morning announcements, building meetings, and post-observation reviews of shows and movies. Oh, and arguing. You'll get lots of disagreements in arguing, like way more than I'm comfortable with.
You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just search for The Fandalorians, Teachers by Day, Nerds by Night.
Then join us every Monday as we look into the current state of fandom and pop culture.
Hey, look, the bell's about to ring. We need to head to the buses. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Well, I mean, they're not going to see us because this is a podcast.
I know.
But they can't even see us when you think about it, so they won't see us either.
Oh my God, you know what I meant. It wasn't literal. Just ring the bell. Ring the bell.
The Fandalorians, Teachers by Day, Nerds by Night. I hope you listen and subscribe to us soon.
I hate you guys.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I am your host, Ryan Hudson, and joined with me, as always, you know him as the most lovable curmudgeon.
Nobody knows me as that.
Yeah, we do. We all do.
No.
What was it that Donald said?
Friendly, happy, critical thinker.
Yes, you are. What's your name?
You know my name! Say my name!
My gosh.
Jason Dietz.
Blow out our mics over here. The Desert of the Real is a movie podcast where I force Jason to watch big blockbuster movies he's never seen because he did not think they were worth his time. We are almost done with the MCU.
Booyah!
Jason is very happy.
I'm so dang happy.
We are two high school teachers. Between the two of us, we teach English, film, philosophy, and creativity, and music appreciation classes. We attempt to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the creativity, philosophy, ethics, and film studies of our movies. And we push you, the listener, to think critically about your entertainment. Thank you so much for listening and coming to our show.
We do appreciate it.
We appreciate you. I don't know if we expressed that adequately enough, but thank you for being here.
You are why we do what we do.
Exactly. It means a lot. And if you like the show, please give us a review, rate our show 5 stars, leave a comment, send us an email for any thoughts, questions at desertoftherealpod@gmail.com. Anyway, so we are on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and you sent a text when you finished this movie, and I misinterpreted it at first.
Oh, my bad.
You said the last 20 minutes of Guardians was nauseating, and I was like...
There's not really a way to misinterpret that.
Okay, so this is what I thought you meant. I thought you meant, oh, there's a scene where the guy's face is off and is all gross underneath. No. They're killing these guys in the hallway fight scene.
That was pretty unnecessary, I thought.
But it did not occur to me until the next day that you meant because of emotions.
No, I'm in it because of fake emotions.
Oh my gosh.
That were fakely introduced.
I can't disagree more, but this is...
I bet you could. Like, you haven't stabbed me or anything, so...
This is the third, and I don't know, maybe the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
It is for me, for sure.
James Gunn, he's left. He's in DC. He has a Superman movie coming out next year. It doesn't say the Guardians will return. It does say Star-Lord will return, but
You can watch him eat more cereal and mow more lawns.
it definitely feels like Marvel and Disney don't have a solid plan right now.
Well, I mean, they disbanded them, basically, so...
I know. Well, part of that is the actors themselves. A lot of them are
They're
like...
we're sick of being in mediocre movies.
No, they're... No. You know,
Let me
okay, here's
away.
the thing. Okay, so recently, in a very, very recent interview at the time of recording...
Was it an emotional recent interview?
Oh my gosh.
Because that's what we really need.
Okay, Zoe Saldana. She, I think it was Variety. She was talking about her connection to this character and how proud she was of all these things she's done and wishes she could even, like, if I can go back and do different things. And she's like, you don't want to say the word deep and Marvel in the same sentence here.
True.
But I also, I'm upset that we've conditioned these actors to some degree that they're not allowed to be proud of their work. I think she's done good things. I think there are good things in especially Guardians. They're the kind of the black sheep of all the Marvel movies in a way. Yeah. They're the most unique.
Well, I think I speak probably for the whole fan base. Like, of these actors, the one that could be the most proud of what they've accomplished is Vin Diesel. Because, I mean, he finally says something else.
Okay, so...
Which was anger-inducing. I was surprised at how angry I was when he said, I love you guys.
So, how do you interpret that?
I interpret that as, that's bullcrap.
This is how I interpret it.
Okay.
It's because in the first movie, only Rocket could understand.
Right.
Second movie, everyone understands.
Oh, so this is the
Babel
fish has now been...
Yeah, how I nice. I got that reference. Don't think I didn't know. And I interpret it as we have officially understood Groot as an audience. Hypothetically, he's saying, I am Groot, but we're hearing what he means.
Sure.
I mean... okay,
I mean, that's a good read.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was genuinely surprised at how upset I was because he said, "I love you guys,"
and it's like he's not supposed to
Are
say
you
that.
kidding? We've got 3 movies of him saying, "I am Groot, I am Groot, I am Groot," and now that I don't know. But really, if I'm being straight up honest, everything that I wrote down as wrong with this movie are all just nitpicks.
Yeah.
This is a genuinely solid movie, except for, like I said, I did not personally enjoy the last 20 minutes. I thought it was way over the top, hammy, and...
I disagree heartedly, but...
That's because I'm the logic guy. You're the pathos guy.
But a lot of movies are built on pathos.
I know. A lot of blockbusters are built on pathos.
I will say, though, I think if there are enough nitpicks, like, it piles up to...
Well, in my case, it piled
criticism.
up to a 4-star.
Yeah. I have it 4 stars as well.
Yeah.
But... I think there's a lot to appreciate about this movie.
I agree.
Especially, okay, so starting right off the bat... Back to back with Ant-Man is insane because...
Yeah, this is a significantly better movie.
But, like, surfacely, I'm...
Surfaceful. Like surfacefully.
Hold on. Cosmetically, they're kind of similar. Like, as in crazy costumes, crazy looking people, and, like, makeup things...
This movie looked massively better.
That's what I'm building to.
Oh,
even
sorry.
like the background and like the sets and stuff. It's, space or interesting setting. Like
so on
the
the
whole
surface level, they're the same.
But the execution is way different.
Yeah.
Like even though there's crazy costumes in both, crazy makeup in both, this movie just looks night and day difference. Like
looks
way
excellent.
better. And as far as I understand it, James Gunn, he gives his time. He wants to give the special effects people time. He understands maybe better what he wants from a movie.
That's a really good choice.
Yeah.
Give your special effects people time.
Yeah, like Avatar 2, they had years to make Avatar 2 look as good as it does. Okay, just a few things I appreciate and notice just as a movie. The music has evolved past the 80s, 70s and 80s, so I think it's kind of saying the characters have grown and changed since last time we saw them. Because even when they're in Infinity War, the song that we hear them listen to is Rubber Band Man. So it's now the music has changed with them.
That was one of my nits.
What? Okay.
You can't have two movies of an 80s soundtrack and then all of a sudden there's these weird songs nobody's ever heard before that are just weird.
Yeah. I mean,
So, that was a nit. I know you disagree. Go.
That's a weird one to me.
It's just a nitpick, like I said.
Yeah.
Once you've established a contract with your audience, you don't oh, guess what? We're going to change all of these pieces of the contract. I am Groot.
It's still diegetic, so the characters hear the songs that we hear.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, it
where did all of that music come from?
His Zune. He gets a Zune at the end of...
I don't even know what a Zune is.
Here, let me tell you.
Okay.
iPod, obviously, crazy successful product.
Yeah. Zune was pre...
No, Zune came out, it was Microsoft's...
iPod?
Yeah, iPod. And no one really bought it. And obviously,
how did he get it?
Someone gives it to him in the last movie.
Oh, I guess I don't remember that.
It's a joke. The joke is that it's a Zune. Here, this is the most advanced thing Earth has. It's a Zune.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, then maybe not. Maybe I retract that nitpick.
Did you watch the Christmas?
No.
I didn't think you would. There's the one and only thing, I guess, canon-wise, is that we learned that Mantis is also Ego's child. And that's why at the beginning of the movie, they say, he's your brother. You learn that Ego was their dad.
Oh, cool.
And the set is the same.
Was the dad of who?
Of Ego.
And Ego was the dad of Mantis and who else?
And Peter.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, so it doesn't affect the story.
No,
it's just
not
you
at
learn
all.
that. And it takes place... It's just a fun little thing. It's mostly Drax and Mantis going to kidnap Kevin Bacon to cheer up Star-Lord. And so Kevin Bacon is Kevin Bacon in the thing. And anyway, it's funny.
I'll watch it. Never. I mean, someday.
I know you won't.
I
No,
meant
you don't
to
have to
say
watch
someday.
it.
I meant someday.
Here's a little Easter egg of the reel.
Okay.
At the very beginning, Nebula is carrying Peter Quill as they're all walking. He's like drunk because he's so sad.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a puppet. They built a puppet. That's not Peter on strings or photoshopped in. That's a full-on built human-like puppet that weighs 15 pounds. Yeah.
Karen Gillian couldn't carry him?
Well, obviously, but it's like, oh, you'd think it was strings.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to do it a different way? Nope, they built a full-on puppet.
Cool.
Yeah. I love that it's not a multiverse crashing story.
Yes, I love anti-multiverse stories.
Yeah, it's more contained. Arguably, there is a big threat to lots of people, but it feels way more contained than the last couple movies have been.
Yeah, it's just one world after the other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same, but I don't know, it had a different... It's a really cool ethical movie.
Yeah, I love...
Which we'll get to, but...
The High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
He's played by Chuck Woody. I might be mispronouncing that. He is just hamming it up in the best way possible.
He was very, very good.
He is fantastic.
Yep. So that's two very good villains in a row.
Yeah.
So that's cool because the previous... Marvel movies, the villains have kind of sucked.
That was almost the biggest complaint by fans.
Yeah. So this is 2 in a row that I really bought, and
I agree.
and, yeah. So good job with that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The next movie doesn't have a memorable
Okay,
one.
well, we could just end it now. On a
No,
high
we
note.
have to do it. We only have
could
one
end it on a high
left.
note.
We even did Werewolf by Night. It's like
I know that was my last. Okay, anyhow.
what?
No, we could just say Werewolf was extra contractual,
Yeah, it was.
so I
It
don't
is.
have to.
Nope, we have to do
watch
the Marvels.
The Marvels.
We gotta do it. We gotta see this through.
Did that pick up?
Okay.
Maybe that picked up.
Just kind of just things I appreciate. Just some of the more the character nuances, especially in the relationships. So, for example, I think Nebula kind of has feelings for Peter.
Yeah, I got that
It's
too.
not talked about. It's all subtext. Like
Yeah.
when she's putting him to bed, basically at the beginning, you kind of get this impression, and then later on. You know, like they have that thing. It's like it sounds more like her. Like, oh, you like pretty eyes.
Yeah.
I never noticed these eyes were were taken by my father for my punishment. He picked a good set.
Yep.
You just kind of get a nice little thing of oh
Unrequited love.
yeah,
Poor Nebula.
and of course the best example is it would have been easy to put Gamora and Peter back in love.
Yeah.
And it was a very mature step because I don't know if
I think they kind of did.
they kind of did. I think she sees what they might have had.
Right.
And that's the best and most heartbreaking line. It's like, bet we were fun.
Yeah.
It's mature for Peter, or not Peter. It's mature for James Gunn to
Yeah.
not put them back where they
I
were.
agree.
And that line, it says a lot by not saying anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't believe.
It was a great
Oh
line.
man, it's beautiful on one hand because James Gunn I don't think he had a lot of say necessarily that Gamora was gonna die and like, oh, maybe we could patch this up, we'll bring her back with but he didn't put them together.
Yeah.
And now that's probably the
Good
last
choice.
I think it's a great choice and it's great. And like it just feels good, you know.
Yep.
I don't know, like even like Peter being drunk and being like, he's like, oh, if I wasn't drunk, I would have been there for Rocket. That's a different take we'll see in superhero movies, you know,
Yeah.
because they're just trying to save Rocket. That's what this movie is.
Right.
We got to do this thing to save our friend.
Right.
And then I like this movie. I think this is my favorite Guardians movie.
I think it's probably mine also.
I mean, it's
I didn't like the start and I didn't like the end, but I liked pretty much everything in the middle.
yeah.
Like I felt like it was a very slow start, especially for a Marvel movie. And I was like, okay, can we like
Can we get going?
And we got drunk anyhow, yeah. But yeah, there were a couple of scenes that I felt like were among the best scenes that we've watched in Marvel. Like my favorite one I think was the decompression room scene where they like got into the whatever it was.
It's
the
like the
living ship
the
or
ship's
whatever.
like this living thing.
And that whole scene, everything that happened in that scene was perfectly timed, perfectly executed, perfectly believable.
Yeah.
Every character was on point. Like it was just kind of amazing scene. Like yeah, like I've got one of those too, and all that.
Yeah.
So
It's
good.
so funny that he says it
Yeah.
to more than one person.
So good. I loved that.
And that's Nathan Fillion, which is just you don't know Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion he should be a movie star because he was
Apparently
like,
not.
but he's one of the like kind of like a Bruce Campbell.
Oh.
This guy
Oh, then we
conventionally
definitely need him in movies.
conventionally attractive, charismatic on screen, but the movies aren't maybe as big a hits. But in like Comic-Cons or conventions, they're like the star, you know. And like Nathan Fillion, he's most famous for Malcolm Reynolds in Firefly.
That was a great scene.
I
The
even
vampire bat Drax's house scene.
You know, it's so funny.
Was so good.
I was watching this with my wife, and she's like, "What even are these things?" I was like, "These are bats." It's like, "These are bats?" And I was like, "Yeah." I like Google bat faces. See, look, bats look like this. She's like, "I never would have guessed that these were bats."
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. It was just in the subtitle, vampire bat, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, does it say that?
Yeah, but the whole argument there, like, just the chemistry of this group of actors is just almost perfect.
Yeah, I laughed so hard at this because this is my
I
second watch ever.
This is the first one, I think the first Marvel movie that I was like actively cracking up at various points.
Yeah,
mostly to do with Drax.
Yeah, Drax is so funny.
I love Drax.
That scene when like sit up, you're supposed to sit on it.
Right, that was so good.
He says, "I find it hard to believe it doesn't have multiple purposes."
It was so good.
And then Peter does his drawing. And like Mantis and Drax are like blown away. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And Peter like is visibly like pleased with himself.
Yeah. So good.
Oh my gosh, this movie is so funny.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh man.
Just like the comedic timing was perfect all throughout. So I think after you watch this now, you should go back and rewatch the second one, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The second one's comedic timing is not on. It's not even close to on. This was just like it hit every single time. It was so good.
Like it is a little slow at the beginning, but I also have to appreciate like that when they're just coming down in those colorful spacesuits, and the suits. I think it's definitely got to be inspired by 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, probably.
But it's like, what other franchise would give a scene like this time like this? Just because it's so visual. It looks like, I don't know, a drawing a kid would make, or even something you'd see on a magazine cover too.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
Yeah. And then you get another funny moment where we could hear you.
Yeah.
I thought I was talking to Gamora.
Yeah, blue is blue is for everybody, and red is for blue, and
and Mantis.
It was great.
See, hello. This movie is so fun.
It is so funny.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Groot with all the guns, that was one of the best moments in the MCU, I think. He pulls out one and another and like his whole he's a tree of guns.
This is
so
obviously
good.
a trap.
It's so
no,
good.
it's a face-off. Groot, go full kaiju.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Drax has so many great lines.
He's so funny.
Kill one guy.
One stupid guy
that nobody loves.
Now it's getting sad.
It's too late. They're all gone when he's eating the Zagnut. And then he pops in. So funny. I love Dave Bautista. He's so good.
Okay, so actually that might be kind of leads to another just thing that I love so much about this movie, and how, like, you know, we know these characters so well at this point and what they can do. So there's a scene near the end when when Nebula and Mantis are talking about Drax, and like they're kind of just saying how dumb he is to his face.
Yep.
And she's like, forget. But then the movie does something I love so much. In one scene, like they're joking about how dumb he is, and then like the next scene, that very aspect about him is recontextualized to be a different kind of intelligence. Now he's connecting to these kids because of how he is. Yeah, he is dumb, but in other ways he's emotionally intelligent, and I love that moment.
Me too.
You didn't ask.
So one of the things we cover in my dual enrollment English class is that concept of, so Howard Gardner has developed the concept of multiple intelligences.
Yeah.
Well, just the idea that there isn't smart and dumb, that we have intelligence profiles. So like I'm socially less intelligent, I'm physically less intelligent, but linguistically I'm very intelligent. And so I actually really loved that Drax got to finally show, like, yes, he's very physically intelligent, but he's got other things. Like, he is socially an intelligent person.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to admit that even though I'm a logic-driven guy, when I don't remember who it was, but they were talking to Drax, he's like, you were never supposed to be Drax the Destroyer. You were supposed to be Drax the Dad.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, me too.
So, like, just emotionally satisfying. And you can see, like, Dave Bautista is so good.
Yeah.
Like, you can just see him accept it just in his face and his body. He doesn't say anything, but he's like, yeah, that's me. That's who I really am.
Yeah.
So good.
Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor.
Yeah.
He's everything The Rock wishes he could
Yeah, I agree. Knock at the door. Is it Knock at the Door?
Knock at the cabin. Yeah.
He's amazing in that.
He's incredible.
So dang good.
He's so huge in that movie.
Yeah.
Now if you see him, he's slimmed down crazily because it's just so hard to have 200 pounds of muscle on you.
I'm sure.
Also, Drax spent hours to get all his makeup on. This movie, he's never shirtless.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. You don't
Forget
need,
it.
You just do your face and your arms. You don't need to go through all the makeup anymore.
Good. So all my negatives are logic flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
The biggest one is that there is absolutely no way that Peter Quill is still alive at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
No way.
That's not how space works.
Well, I mean, if your face goes to looking like that, it doesn't go back to looking normal anyhow. It's just all, like I said, it's mostly all just nitpicks. Like how on earth does little baby Rocket know how to do all of the stuff that he does to get out of the building? He's never flown anything. He's never whatever, just stuff like that. The one thing that I absolutely have to object to is the absence of Def Leppard's Rocket in this movie. There is no other song that should have been Rocket's song other than that song. I cannot
Not
believe,
even Rocky Raccoon.
I can't even believe they did not use that. I was waiting and never showed up.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's protected by these 3 impenetrable plasmatic shields. Except if we have this little Game Boy cartridge, I can program it. We can just push right through these impenetrable shields. Whatever. Okay. But
sure.
except for not the third one for inexplicable reasons. Yeah, but that's it. It was all nitpicks, and I admit it. This is a great movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I know you don't like all the emotion stuff.
I like it when it's real.
What about in the middle when you see Baby Rocket and he's with his friends and then the one and they die? Is that not real?
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't. I can tell you that the emotion in Spider-Man No Way Home was perfect.
Yeah.
I bought everything of that. And this one, it just feels like they're trying to manipulate me into feeling things that they didn't need to manipulate me into feeling. And because they tried to manipulate me into feeling them, it means that I don't feel them anymore because they were naturally created and now they're artificially creating them. I think it's the last 20 minutes of this movie was not necessary because we already felt all of the things that they tried to create in that last 20 minutes. If we had cut the last 20 minutes and they just kind of said goodbye and yeah, it's sad, I love you, see ya, this would have been a 5-star movie for me.
I guess starting when they get on the ship, after they blow up the bad guy ship.
I don't know, whenever the super emotional stuff I don't remember exactly when it was. But I was okay, and then I don't know.
It's just kind of fun trying to understand your brain.
I know, and
which ones are working, which one doesn't work. Because even like I was watching with my wife, and she even goes, "Man, how did this raccoon got me to get so emotional about the situation?"
I don't know.
Anyway,
like if we already feel it, it doesn't need to be created.
Whatevs.
There you go. That is my
I mean, that's
best
fair.
attempt at explaining my irrational prejudice against overly emotional scenes in movies.
Because I also think this might be the most purposeful, emotional Marvel movie. Like, I've already said on record, I think Black Panther 2's the emotional high, especially that ending scene, her saying goodbye to the brother.
Yeah.
But this, it's like these baby raccoons, these other animals that are getting killed, his best friends as kids. And then at the end, when he embraces himself, I'm a raccoon.
I remember where it was.
Yeah.
It was Rocket's dream. That's when I started being like, oh, no, they're not. Like when he dies, and I was like, oh, don't do this. I was like, please do not. And then they did it. And then it just kind of kept going downhill from there. But
I do have to
come with us.
All right.
Friend
Well,
raccoon.
to be fair, the bunny is not as mentally.
It doesn't.
All right, whatever.
Okay, there.
All right, that's fair.
I pinpointed it for
That's
you.
fair. Did you watch things edited?
Yes.
Did it edit out
No.
the hallway fight scene?
These are mostly just edited for language.
Okay. It does. This movie does have the first F-bomb.
I noticed that, and that was disappointing.
I thought it was funny.
I-
What do you do?
What is it
Push
there
it in. Well, so that wasn't necessarily in the script. It was kind of like, does this feel right? I think it's actually hilarious. Where it's like,
I know you do.
push it in. Then what? We'll pull the lever. Then what? Then open the door. It's so funny. Anyway, okay. There's one final, there's actually something my wife pointed out, a little detail that I love. Like, when they're in the suits, they're all different colors. Gamora is wearing a blue suit, and Nebula is wearing a green suit. And my wife's like, hey, does that kind of symbolize that they switched places? I'm like, yeah.
That's cool.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Nebula has become the family person with the group, and now Gamora is the one that's the hard as nails character that needs to be. Like, oh yeah, I think that. I don't know why else.
Yeah, that's a good read.
I like that too.
I definitely love the upgraded Nebula and all her attitude.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Just everything. Yeah. This was a good movie.
I picked up on a visual motif. James Gunn's pretty active on Threads, which is the Facebook version of Twitter.
Okay.
I sent him a message. I didn't get a response back.
Huh.
But
You'd think he would have heard of us by now.
I know. But I will say, when the second movie came out, I tweeted at him, like, do you think trailers reveal too much? And he responded to me way back in the day saying, no, I think these trailers, whatever, don't show too much, whatever. So he did respond one time. I asked him, because I noticed this, it's not in the other movies, the camera swivels around its characters. Like, the visual camera will be here, like 180 degrees to the other side, multiple times for multiple characters throughout the entire movie. So I'm like, is this something? Is it just cool camera work? So I was like, is there a deeper thematical meaning
They're doing
here?
180s.
And he didn't respond, but I actually don't know if it is anything other than a cool camera movement.
Read a response. Come on. What does it mean? Because you're right.
I mean, yeah, you're right. How art works,
Right.
you can make meaning out of everything. The author is dead, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I just think how I would probably interpret it is these characters are centered and grounded, and we are around them. Like we are looking everywhere around them because they have solidified themselves as.
Cool.
That's how I would interpret if I wanted to find a deep meaning.
Yeah, that's good. This is not my color. It clashes with my eyes.
I love it when Mantis, like, you are in love with him, and Drax like, oh, what is their name? Drax the Destroyer. What a beautiful name.
Dressed in these authentic mechanics uniforms. Anyhow, yeah, so good.
Adam Warlock has a similar thing.
Who in the heck is that?
Like the actor or the character?
The character.
It's kind of like
some moron in Marvel.
Actually, I guess
I don't. Ultimate powers.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what he's like in the comics at all, but he's similar to Namor, where it's like he's a good guy usually. They're fighting now, but they can't kill him off because he's usually a good guy.
But he's a moron.
I don't know how he is in the comics. I think it's kind of funny here.
I mean, it was funny, but I never really understood his purpose for being in the movie, really. His comic relief.
I guess they set it up in the second movie. And they needed to pay it off. But I guess it's just the Guardians will accept, like, you know, they will find the outcasts, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess. I mean, in the end, it was satisfying what they did with him. So
yeah.
It was pretty cool.
One of my big cons, which is just a nitpick, is the Guardians have a fantastic theme. And
Song?
It's the theme, yeah. It's just underused. I think you hear it twice for the most part. When they're blowing up the ships at the end, and then when the animals or kids run into the good ship. But because Guardians 1 is really the first time the score stands out to be like, oh, I could maybe hum that after I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Like all the Phase 1 stuff, besides like Avengers. Avengers has a theme. It's Guardians, like, oh, here's a theme song you'll remember. You know, I gun to my head, couldn't tell you what Thor's theme, Iron Man's theme, Captain America's theme.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just kind of sad we didn't get to hear more of that. It's so funny. Some of these, if you are online way too much like I am, you just see people argue things. Like for example, the hallway fight scene. It's so cool. It's all fan servicey, but at the same time, there's a lot of
It's very gratuitous.
Yeah, gratuitous. And you'll get people being like, "This is just for the fanboys. This is really dumb if you think about it." Stuff
It
like
is
that.
really dumb.
I know,
but
it's cool though.
I don't know.
So it's like,
I wasn't a real fan of that, but
not even the Beastie Boys. You like?
I thought it was
Beastie
hilarious
Boys.
that they used the Beastie Boys and then they cut out all of the lines that were inappropriate. Like they edited, no sleep till Brooklyn. But it was pretty cool. That was a moment they should have used Rocket.
Maybe, yeah.
But
it is kind of Rocket's movie.
Yes.
And I think Bradley Cooper is really doing it in this movie. He's bringing his voice acting game here.
Yeah.
And Bradley Cooper, for all like the other Avengers movies and Guardians, I don't think he ever was part of the promotion. I think this was the first time he came out on like a red carpet and he was there like, yeah, I'm one of the Guardians.
It's his movie. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Anyway, I was very excited to talk to you this whole time because the villain is attempting to create a utopia.
Yeah.
And you have a fun project you do with your students, creating a utopia.
Creating, promoting, selling it.
Yeah, you have them build it, advertise it in the school, try to get people to vote which one's the best one.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
And I wanted to know what your thoughts are of his attempt or his mindset and everything.
Okay. Well, we'll tie this in with the ethics then. Because from one perspective, what he's doing is the only way that anyone would probably ever actually create a utopia. Mm-hmm. Because to create a perfect society, everyone has to agree on what is perfect. Mm-hmm. And that, at least for the human race, is I would say it's impossible.
Right.
And so any utopian attempt is going to be somebody's dystopia. Mm-hmm. So from the perspective of, one of the key philosophical concepts is how should society be organized? this is the only way I can think of that it would ever happen.
Like one person in charge.
One person, not only one person in charge, but one person who creates the people that will be in the utopia and ensures that the way that they think about the utopia is the same way that the creator thinks about the utopia.
Yeah.
That's the only way it would ever happen. So from that perspective, I thought this was really cool. It was a really cool project that the guy has. And then we start seeing like the behind the scenes stuff. Because when he explains his ideas, like, yeah, that makes sense. And so then behind the scenes, how much, I don't know, pain, how much death, how much suffering is okay in order to create the perfect society.
Yeah.
And this movie obviously says, well, this much is too much. It doesn't actually answer how much is the appropriate amount or a reasonable or ethical amount of suffering, but this is too much. Because
the Animal Planet?
Well, just like as we move through, the idea, like he's on, Rockets was 89. This is the 89th version of the experiment. Okay, well, probably there are 88 jails where all of the other ones are, because this is where the 89th, well, no, we find out actually they all got incinerated.
Yeah.
So is that too much? And so it just keeps moving down deeper and deeper into, okay, this is messed up, until we get to the point that, like, okay, we've created the planet, we've seeded the planet.
Yeah.
There are people living there, they have active lives and families. Okay, well, we got to erase that. At that point, he goes from, I think, being kind of an obsessed visionary to like a supervillain.
Right.
In his mind, he is not.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's like, I have this vision, and I want to get it right. I don't think that he necessarily even views these people as people, certainly,
right.
but even I don't know if he even views them as alive in a sense of having pain, having feelings, having stuff. So ethically, this is a super interesting movie.
Yeah. Because like his next project were those little girls, basically,
right?
And like they could run without getting tired.
Yep.
They could build a motor in so many minutes, but they don't have any. It would be a perfect society. They would make everything work flawlessly.
He
but
got it right.
But they don't have Rocket's inventiveness. They don't care about anything to improve or whatnot.
And so what makes it so cool is he did it.
Yeah.
Like that, those girls or the kid, are they all girls?
I think they're all girls. I don't know.
Anyhow, all that group is the only way, like I said at the start of this, the only way a utopia would ever exist.
Right.
Is that group. And so he got it. He did it. He succeeded. And then he realized that that's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And so what he wants to reintroduce into his utopian society is the one thing that will guarantee that he never achieves a utopian society, which is like the agency or the free will to think outside of the programming. It guarantees that there's never a utopia. So this movie answers the question, is there a perfect society, which is a crucial philosophical concept. This movie says no, it is impossible.
Well, but the other thing is the society of the animals, for the most part it is nice. Like they have a nice house, they have like ideal lawns or whatever.
But they also have beggars and meth pushers and so it's not.
It's not, but at the same time for most of the population it probably is as nice as it.
But isn't that what we live in too?
Right. Or sure. Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
so as they're rolling through whatever, does it ever give it a name, that little civilization?
It's like Earth.
Oh, that's right. Counter Earth.
Yeah, Counter Earth.
Yeah, as they're rolling through Counter Earth, I was like, this is suburbia.
Yeah.
Suburban America. There's no difference here.
Yeah, that's a good point, I guess.
Which is again really interesting because that is his best attempt.
Yeah.
And so another thing that I wrote down to talk about is then, according to the MCU, suburban America as close to the perfect society as we're ever going to get? And that's a really interesting question.
It's kind of we've danced, or we've even talked about things like this before. Things are good for me, but what about the injustices in the world and stuff?
And so that's where the ethics comes in. Like we've talked a lot about loyalist ethics.
Yeah.
As long as it's good for me and my people, then it's a perfect society. And so I think to kind of go outside of the movie into my own pet project is the idea of de-othering. Othering is like, you're other from me. There are things that I am that you're less than or whatever. Racism is othering. Like, because of this aspect of you are less than me. And so like that idea, as long as it's good for me and mine, the way that we move towards, in my opinion, a utopian society is me and mine has to expand.
Right.
To include, these people. And the bigger we can get everybody's me and mine, and it's okay and it's good for all of these me and mines,
right,
then the world changes. Then we live in a utopian society because everyone's me and mine is big enough to cover everyone on the planet.
And so let me know if this is a bad read, but like, it kind of reminds me, at its true core, communism is a good idea, but in real life, the people at the top don't want to give away too much, and the people at the bottom probably would want more than they need.
So communism is different from Marxism.
Okay.
Communism is the political vehicle that uses Marxist ideas and Leninist ideas to create a government. But the problem with pure Marxism is it requires a ruling class that is completely selfless.
That's what I mean. Like, the people at the top need to not want more than they need.
Completely selfless.
Exactly. At its core, it is. That's why it's tantalizing. It's never worked, ever.
I don't think it's possible to work.
Yeah.
But yeah. If we could find a ruling class that was completely selfless.
Right.
Yeah. Like if we had a bunch of King Arthurs or I don't know who else from legend is selfless.
But I also, because the unit I read in my class also has like a utopia, dystopia unit. It's always fun to build, not to the extent that you do, but see them build a utopia, what ideas they want to include, or
what the perfect society looks like for them.
Yeah. We get fun stuff like, if you break the law, you get burnt alive. Random.
That's fun.
No, but it's like, okay, I guess if that's what you want.
Yeah. So philosophically and ethically, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I guess probably already said, I really loved how careful the movie was in revealing the layers of his insanity or his whatever. And it's also really interesting in terms of, I don't know what the word is, but like in terms of like setting goals, for example, is a really good adaptive behavior. Like, I want to change this about myself, or I want to achieve this thing. Is really good. It's how we grow, it's how we change, recognizing our weaknesses, etc.
So wait, you're saying, the bad guy, it's like, he's a good example of how to do things. I want this. Oh, let me try again. Let me do it again, but different.
Yes, but then it also helps us see that we have to be critical thinkers about the goals and our progress, because if we're not, we end up like the, what is he, the high evolutionary, I think is what he's called. We end up there. Because at some point in the process of I want to achieve this, let's try this.
Yeah.
He became detached from his ethics.
Yeah.
Detached from morality. Detached from the actual purpose of what he was trying to do. And he ends up, doing what he does in this movie.
Yeah.
And so this movie's also a really good plea for thinking critically about what you are doing, why you are doing it, and checking it, like being in the habit of checking those goals all the time, so that you're still pointed at what you actually want to accomplish, and the goal doesn't become an end in itself.
See, in an ideal world, our politicians would be more like that.
Yeah.
And then, I think just a lot of our politicians get corrupted either by money or by power and lose sight of what they might have got in politics for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the goal has become an end in itself.
Yeah.
Be reelected is now the goal, rather than I want to be elected so I can do these things for the people or to better society or whatever.
Okay, I just wanted to basically do a little profile on the High Evolutionary.
Sure.
And you're already kind of doing it already, but he's just such an interesting bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, he could have been a Avengers bad guy.
Yep.
And I don't think we'll ever see him again. But he works here.
I don't think so, because he's like explode, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's trying to build a utopia. So he's talking to Young Rocket. And they're listening to some like Gregorian chants or something.
While they look out into space.
Yeah, they're looking. Yeah. He's basically seeing the sky for the first time.
Yeah.
And he says the words in the song that they're listening to says, "Be not as you are, but as you should be." So that's what's driving the High Evolutionary. It's like things need to be as they should be.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't they how they should be? And it drives him crazy. Like, that's his whole thing. I need to make the people how they should be. But even when he makes, like we said, the perfect thing, it's, but you're not like you should be. You should want to build things like Rocket did. Because his archetype is the ruler archetype. Yeah. He wants to control things. 100%. He wants things under his control. But later on in the movie, it's like someone accuses him of trying to conquer the universe. And he says, I'm not trying to conquer the universe. I'm perfecting it. Yeah. So that's why in his mind, he's not doing a bad thing. It's like, this will help you in the long run. So that's kind of similar to Thanos, but in just a different way, like an interesting way. Where it's like, don't these people want to be perfect? Don't you want a perfect society? Like you've already said, a utopia requires everyone to agree what makes a utopia. And he's got one vision, and it's not going to match everyone else's vision.
No.
And it's completed by the end with like a little bit of the body horror, where it's like his skin can come off and they call it a mask.
Yeah.
He's putting like a fake face on to hide the grossness underneath, like probably to say like his intentions are always bad or whatever. But even though he could do all sorts of things, he could, if he wanted to, he could work on improving the universe, but he's not interested in that. He just wants to control things.
Yeah.
He wants things done his way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It is conceivable, like I said, that way back at the beginning, he wanted to do that. He wanted to help the universe. That was his purpose.
Yeah.
But at some point, using his science or whatever to help the universe became the goal, the end goal in itself.
Yeah.
I want to use my science to create perfection, not to better the universe, but just as an end in itself. I want to create the perfect society.
Yeah, and he's got a god complex.
Oh,
so much so that
100%.
He has the line, it's like, there is no God. That's why I stepped in.
Yes.
Which
is kind of a chilling line.
Yeah, it's a great line, I think.
Yeah.
But that plays because only we've seen him be so crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he doesn't care about the things he creates.
Right.
And that's kind of like the moment that you hate at the end, where it's like, we need we saved all the people. Yeah, but we have to save the animals too. Like every living thing. You roll your eyes, but you don't even kill spiders in your house.
I don't.
So it's like you agree with the message of that.
You're right. And I would have been 100% fine with it, except for that like friggin' 5-minute long moment where Rocket sees his other little raccoons and goes over to them and opens the cage and nuzzles the little raccoon and picks up the other little raccoon and they look at each other and there's this deep connect. No. Like the friggin' ship is literally disintegrating. You can have that moment later on.
Okay.
Get off the dang ship. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so manipulative and absurd.
Okay.
Oh, so are you getting it?
No,
Okay.
I see why you think that.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, okay. Like
it's a nice moment. He sees the word raccoon and he's come full circle.
Oh man. See, I wasn't even going to do any of that.
You wasn't asking
that. You made that happen.
Anyway, I think this movie is fun.
I loved it.
Good.
I liked it a lot. I don't know if I loved it, but
you know what?
I loved a lot of parts of it.
I think I can officially say I think this is the best MCU trilogy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
It's
got one stinker.
What? But I like the stinker. I think the stinker is actually not a stinker at all.
The only other contender I would say would be the Captain America trilogy.
Not even Spider-Man?
I didn't really like the first two.
Well, all right. Yeah,
but the last one was the last one is my pick for the best Marvel movie.
And I think Captain America would be the best contender. And I know people love that first one, but I don't. I don't like
the Captain America.
The first Captain America.
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
terrible,
so
but the other two were But yeah, I think I agree. I think the stinker in Guardians is not as stinky as the Captain America stinker. So
yeah,
I will agree with you.
Well, awesome.
I will join Team Guardians trilogy.
Did you like? Okay, does your hatred extend to that dance scene?
My hatred?
Yeah, to the last 20 minutes where they're dancing to "The Dog Days Are Over." The dog days are over.
It does.
I just like seeing Drax dancing. I like seeing them all dancing. Even Nebula.
See, that's what that's totally emotionally manipulative, in my opinion. That we already love them. We love their interaction. We love the love that they have for each other.
This might be the final send-off of all the Guardians. Great. Okay. They're going to be okay. That's all we're trying to say. They're going to be fine, even when they're all split up.
They will be fine. Drax is a dad. That's really all I care about at this point. I don't care that Pete... Can we just leave it? Let's just finish out. Because it's such a pleasant moment that we are happy together. We love the same movie.
I know.
Let's just not bring up the things that I hate about it.
I think it's a nice moment. Do you like when they're...
You're going to keep...
I know, but I generally don't know what you think about... What about when, like, kind of like the new Guardians, there's the girl and what's his face from Gilmore Girls, the Finn guy.
Yeah, no.
Do you like... They're talking about music? All right, just
like, just straight up from Rocket's dream thing, whatever that was, on... I wish they would have not done any of that.
All right, I suppose that's fair.
But everything before that, once it finally got started, just a beautiful, hilarious, emotionally satisfying movie. And ethically very interesting.
Super interesting. Yeah.
So
awesome.
4 stars.
Are there any dessert of the real moments? He eats the cereal at the end. Drax eating the Zarg nuts or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it would be the Zag nuts. Yeah. That was so funny.
Maybe I wanted one.
I wanted one. They're all gone. Sorry. I Drax.
You know what?
Drax needs his own movie. I would watch a Drax movie.
I don't know if Dave Bautista. I think he's one of the ones that say he might be done.
Yeah,
being Drax.
but I would watch a Drax movie. Yep, I think Drax is my favorite MCU character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love for Drax. Anyhow.
Okay, so good news for you.
Good news.
We have one left.
One more.
Unless we do.
No. You always say unless.
I know, because
No.
technically, where we are right now, there is one more, and it's coming to streaming next month, and we could do it.
Yep. We already did it.
You didn't do it, though.
No, but the Desert of the Real team has already covered it. We don't need to cover it. We are done. I am not backing down. I am so done.
The Marvels
Okay.
as the last movie
Yes.
that we're covering in the MCU.
Yes.
On Desert of the Real.
Correct.
We will do two
No.
Jason's Choice.
Oh, okay, yes.
You got to choose two in a row.
Okay.
Movies you want to watch. And then we're doing Star Wars, baby.
Baby. So excited.
This
for
has
Star
been a
Wars.
lot of fun. Like this whole journey.
Yeah. I
remember
looking back, it's worth
recording
it.
the first Guardians episode with you and being, man, I can't wait for him to see the next two because there's moments that are so great in those.
Yeah.
And that was over a year ago.
I
we've been
know.
doing this. Over
So
a
long.
year's worth of podcasting.
So long.
So long.
Yeah. Whew. But it's been good. It's been good to take this ride with you guys, listeners.
It has been.
I genuinely, we say it every time, but like we genuinely appreciate you listening week after week.
Yeah.
We would love to hear more from you about what you think. But because we love what we're doing. Before we started doing this podcast, we did what we're doing now.
We would just talk.
Like every lunch, basically, we'd come
About
in and
movies.
talk about movies. And so the fact that we get to kind of involve other people in our obsession, passion. Yeah. We can be passion, bordering on obsession. Is very rewarding.
Yeah.
We say every time we want to hear from you. That's genuinely true.
Yeah.
We would love to extend the sphere of what shows up on these episodes to include you.
We might have a bonus episode in the near future.
Yeah.
Some students
a live unedited
question. Yeah. I don't even know what it's going to be.
I don't either, but we're going to record it on Thursday, and we'll see what happens
with students in the room.
But not speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're going to be sending us questions. We'll see how that goes and if it actually gets aired or not.
Yeah.
So thank you so much again for being with us and listening to us and enduring all of the Marvel movies.
And all of Jason's all of Jason's hot takes, we'll say.
Well, I admit there were a couple of movies where I was curmudgeon-y. I don't know that I was a curmudgeon, but there were moments.
Anyway, we love you.
We do love you. Thank you for listening.
This is, of course, where academia meets creativity.
Oh, my goodness.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I forgot all about that.